feel like I need to mentally prepare myself for this video today. Like, what the hell's wrong with me? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing amazing. I mean, you can tell from the title it's a Q&A. It's an anonymous, I think that's how you say it, anonymous Q&A. So I downloaded the app NGL, not gonna lie. It's basically an app where you can share a link onto your Instagram stories or whatever social media platform, and people can ask you questions anonymously. You genuinely don't know what people are gonna say, so I was very skeptical doing it for a very long time, and I thought, no, like I was saying on my Instagram story this morning that I had this little boost this week. I just kind of gave myself a bit of a kick up the arse this week, and I was like, no, you're going to plan content for this weekend and you're going to do it. I've read all the questions and I'm so glad that I've done this, and I hope from doing this video that I'm going to keep sharing this link, and I'll share answers to my Instagram stories as well. I just want this, I want my social media to be a place that people can freely ask me questions or freely, you know, like talk to me about anything. Yeah, I really hope that this video like actually encourages my viewers to continue to ask me questions, and you know, if people prefer to do it anonymously, I'll keep it anonymous. I'll quite happily do that as long as obviously things don't get nasty, but generally I didn't have any nasty things. I mean, there was one that was a bit like, oh, alright, okay, but there was generally some like constructive criticism in there, which stuff like that is really going to help me with my socials. And like I've got a backbone, you know, like I'm not going to cry at like horrible things people are going to say just like on a one-off, like unless I'm having a bad day. So the construction criticism I actually take really well, and I actually really appreciate it. So I just want to say thank you now to everyone that did ask me questions. I'm gonna be answering a selection of them today. I'm not going to be able to answer all of them, otherwise I might be here for a little bit, but I just want to say thank you. I don't want to ramble too much. We're going to get straight onto the video, and I'm going to probably be explaining some questions in quite a bit of detail because you know I like to ramble, but I hope you guys stick around. So grab a drink, let's chill, let's have like a nice chat, and hopefully my social media from now on people will feel like it's a safe place again, because I feel like from the questions I have got, people feel like obviously my content has changed, which it has, but not necessarily for the better. So I'm going to be addressing those things on this video as well. Also, if anyone's got this app and knows how to filter out the ones that the app sends you, like the app just sends you like random questions like, do you believe in God? And I'm just like, what the hell? So if anyone knows how to filter that out, please let me know. Okay, so I'm going to start from the bottom. So they're going to be like in a really like random order, and I'm just going to flip through some of the questions. One person asked me, when am I getting married? And you know what, it's actually really weird that I got asked this question, because me and Jack talk about our future like every day, and for someone who literally next weekend will be like a year since we met, and it's crazy. So for someone who's like not been together that very long, like we talk about so many things in detail. Like it's crazy, like so much, like kids, how we're gonna afford kids, what we're gonna do, and like, so marriage is a very popular topic, and someone has genuinely asked me, when am I getting married? If I was to put a bet on it, it's the year I'm going to get married, because I do not want to get married any of the years that my really good friends are getting married. So when I look at how long they've been together, and I look at me and Jack and like what our plans are over the next few years, I have a feeling it'll be 2027. So it's still quite a little while away, because obviously I've not even got a ring yet, so 2027, I think. I did mention this to Jack, and he was like, oh, I don't want to get married on an odd year number, which I get. Like he was like, oh, let's do it in 2028. I'm like, no, I'm gonna be turning 30 in 2028. I want to get married before I'm 30. So it's still a while away. In terms of the engagement, obviously that will be sooner. Well, I like to think so. So yeah, that's my prediction on that, but obviously there's no set date because I'm not even engaged. So obviously, you know, when that time comes, I will be filling you guys in with all of the details. I also got a question asking, do I do OnlyFans? So I'm sure the majority of you know that I do OnlyFans, a lot differently compared to when I first started. So I'll be completely honest, let's have a whole topic on OnlyFans and exclusive content, let's say. OnlyFans is something I started in, oh my goodness, was it 2021? 2021, I think I started OnlyFans, and the first 3 months on OnlyFans was insane. I brought in like a full-time salary. I think because obviously like when you do something new, like everyone's like really curious, and although I was very to the point from the get-go. As soon as I said I was doing OnlyFans, I was like, it's not going to be like nudes, it's not going to be like porn, do you know what I mean? It's gonna be lingerie photos, and for the right price there will be more exclusive photos, but I'm never gonna show anything. I'm never, you know, I'm never doing full-on nudes. Like that's just not me. I don't want pictures of me like that on the internet. And when I first started OnlyFans, I was like, oh, people probably aren't going to be interested in this. But the whole reason I started OnlyFans was because I got so many requests to do it. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to give it a try. And I did. And I actually did a YouTube video back then, before I had my teeth redone again, and I look absolutely dreadful. I watched back that video and cringed, but it was quite a popular video, so I left it on. And I basically explained like the whole ins and outs of OnlyFans and how much money I made and blah, 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 blah. I have made 5 figures. That's really crazy to say. OnlyFans has brought in a 5-figure income over 2 years, which is actually really crazy to think. So when I was like the top of my game, I was like in the top 4%, and like it's crazy. In terms of dollars, I basically brought in 5 figures over 2.5 years, which is just mind-blowing, to be honest. But if you don't put that into perspective, and I said the first 3 months I was taking a full-time wage, you can probably get the picture of how much I've made since my 3rd month, because people obviously eventually caught on that I wasn't going to give them the content that they specifically wanted. I then also got into a relationship, I slowed down with my content, and I've never picked it up since. I still occasionally post in there, I do messages, I do stuff like that. I still make money off OnlyFans every month, like I get a wage every single month, but it's not like 4 figures, do you know what I mean? It's a low 3-figure on average. But it was actually weird that this question came up, because as Jack was leaving for work this morning, he was like, he basically asked me what kind of content I was doing today. So I told him, and he was like, you gonna do any OnlyFans content? And I was like, well, probably not this weekend, no. And he was like, he basically just said, to be honest, you should, like I should get back into it. And it was really weird to him say that, because obviously as a boyfriend, and he's admitted it to me, it can be uncomfortable, but he also knows the potential from it. And he was encouraging me this morning. He was like, you should do OnlyFans content. And honestly, I was left a bit speechless. I was like, I've never thought I would heard my boyfriend say you should do OnlyFans content, because my ex certainly never would have said that. So yeah, it was quite crazy. I still don't think I'm going to be doing any content this weekend, but now that he said that, I'm kind of like, right, actually, I think I should get back on my OnlyFans game a bit. So watch this space, we'll see what happens. It's something that has to, like, I want to do at the time, so we're just gonna see. I'm not gonna put any promises in place, but in answer to the question, yes, I do OnlyFans, I do requests. It's always live if people want to go subscribe. And I also just want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed, bought from me, blah, 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 over the years, because it's made a lot of things happen, especially those first few months. I managed to save all of that money, and I booked an amazing trip to the Maldives with my ex-boyfriend. So, you know, like, OnlyFans has brought in a lot of opportunities for me, and I do not see myself doing it for the rest of my life, but I also don't see me stopping it anytime soon. If anything, I see myself, apologies if you can hear my dog, if anything, I can see myself picking it back up again very, very soon. The next question is, do you have any cosmetic surgery done? You're so pretty. So I want to say thank you. I actually got like a lot of like long questions that were just like really compliments of me, which obviously I'm not going to go through all. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who was really lovely to me. And I'm also really sorry, my dog is barking at something and she won't shut up. So in answer to the question, I've not had any like surgery done. No, I'm completely natural. I have had a tiny bit of filler in my lips. Which actually, when I look at my lips, I'm like, they're really, really natural. Like, I don't think they ever did anything majorly. And then I look at like a really old picture of myself and I'm like, yeah, they definitely sorted my lips out okay. Basically, my top lip was like non-existent, and because of dental work I've had, it was also uneven. So I originally got about 0.7, 0.8 mil in Jersey, where I live. And I thought, oh, it looks okay, but it's like not what I want. And then I ended up going to a place in the UK. It's called Number One, in just outside of Wolverhampton, outside of Birmingham. And I originally went there for a lip flip, and I just really liked the whole vibe there. So the guy who does it, Alan, he's actually a doctor, so you feel really safe, and I love the results of the lip flip. So I ended up going back in April to get a lip flip again and filler, because I was going to get filler the first time I went there, but because I still had a bit of filler from my original appointment, he was like, she's done it so unevenly. And I was like, yeah, it's because she was trying to level out my lip. And he was like, you can level out your lip with still keeping the filler equal, because of the way my lip was. I don't know. You know, he was a doctor, he talks sense, and when I eventually did get filler with him in April, he put a mil in my whole entire lips, and they are so like much more even, and yeah, so much better. So the reason I didn't get basically filler the first time with him when I got the lip flip was because there was still filler in there, and we decided let's just let it dissolve and then we'll start fresh. So I am planning on going back to him later this year to potentially get maybe another mil or 0.7 mil. So yeah, but that's the only work done. I will probably start getting Botox in the next year or two. I hate my frown lines, but I've also like, let's get the traveling out the way. Let's keep that little bit extra money for now, and we'll think about Botox at a slightly later date. But otherwise, no surgery, no other cosmetics procedures, let's say. Someone asked me, how am I today? So I'm going to answer this one because I think it's a really good question to answer. I'm just so happy at the moment, which honestly brings me on to another question. Is there anything that could make you happier with your life right now? So I'm going to kind of tie these two questions together. So anything that can make me happier in my life right now. So like I said, I'm genuinely very happy. I enjoy my job. I enjoy the people who are around me. I'm in a really good relationship. He lives here. Like, I'm just genuinely very happy. We have like amazing things set in place over the next few years, and I can genuinely see my future with this guy, and honestly my life is just so content. If anything was going to make me happier, I feel like there's a few things, but I'm kind of glad I don't have them because I just agree with where I am in life right now, you know. So the first thing, I don't agree with money making you happier. I don't agree with it, but I agree that money gives you freedom to do things, and I therefore wish I did have a bit more income to help me with me and Jack's plans. Don't get me wrong, when I say that, I don't want like, well, I wouldn't mind if I won the lottery, you know, but it's not necessarily going to make me like overly like happy. Like where I am in my life right now, I want to be living at home still with my mum, and my boyfriend lives with me. Like, so if I had loads of money, yeah, it'd be great and we could buy a house, but like in a way I feel like I'm not ready to move out. I'm 25 years old and I feel like I'm not ready to move out. Like that's really, really weird. So like I feel like where I am in life is where I'm supposed to be, but I wish I sometimes had a bit more freedom, because obviously me and Jack are saving so heavily for our trips. It's going to affect our social life a bit, so I wish I had that bit more freedom from money, but it's not like a massive thing to me. But sometimes near the end of the month I'm like, oh, really can't be like spending any more money this month, you know, just stuff like that. So there is that, because sometimes that can get me a little bit down, but it's only like very temporary. It's not like a long time like feeling. And the other thing is just feeling more comfortable in my own skin, which actually I'm going to talk about more when I read another question. So I this morning have been filming TikToks and Instagram stories about filters on. Like I've been trying to embrace more me. Feeling more comfortable with myself in my body would be the best way I think to word it, but I will talk about that more later on. But otherwise I'm genuinely really happy. Like I wake up and like obviously I have my mood swings, I'm a woman at the end of the day, and Jack's like sometimes like, oh my god, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm literally fine. If anything, I'm actually just really happy. I'm just having a mood swing, you know, I can't help that. But yeah, genuinely I feel like in life I'm where I need to be, and I'm very happy right now. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Someone asked me what my dream car is, and I thought this was a really random question which I didn't know if I was going to answer, but kind of just thinking about it, I am going to answer it. My dream car, I genuinely don't know what car I would buy. If I had all the money in the world, right, money wasn't an object, right, and I could buy any car, I don't know what it would be. I genuinely don't, because you know why? I love cars. I appreciate a nice car. I drive a Mercedes GLC and I absolutely love it. I have it wrapped. I've had it wrapped, should I say, in this beautiful blue car. I even insert a picture. Like everyone knows me by my car. My car is like, I absolutely love it. And before I had that car was my dream car, and it was my dream to make it unique. And although Mercedes are very similar colours to this, they don't in the GLC. Well, I've never seen a GLC this colour. And I just really like the colour. Like, it's my favourite colour. I just feel like I've made it unique to me. I've got my name on the fuel cap. I've got my Instagram on it. Like, people might call it sad, but like, that car was my dream car. Also, I've been realising, I've been looking at the viewfinder the whole time, not the lens. I really apologise for that. But yeah, before I got my GLC was my dream car. And everyone was always like, at the time when I bought it, like, why didn't you buy an AMG? Like, why have you got a diesel? Da-da. I didn't want an AMG because that car is my only car. I use that car to get to and from work every day. And I'd much rather spend my money on holidays and other things than having to pay 100 quid for fuel every week. Like, a whole tank of fuel can sometimes last me a whole month. Do you know what I mean? Like, it depends what we're using it for. And yeah, I didn't want an AMG. I didn't want an AMG. I wanted my diesel. I wanted my diesel. I got my diesel. So I got my dream car, and I still get into that car, and that car's 7 years old now and I've had it 4 years. I still get into that car and I'm so precious about it. And I feel like that's when you know you've bought the right car, especially 4 years down the line, and I'm still like obsessed with it. But in terms of my actual dream car, I just, don't get me wrong, I would love to have an AMG if I could have a second car. I think I would have a 2-seater Mercedes, so the SLK, but the newer one, convertible, or one of the C or E-Class convertibles, which are more 4-seaters. But I can always see myself with a 2-seater one day. I do like Lambos, obviously, to look at. Wherever I'd have one, I don't know. I just think where I live, and I don't see myself living anywhere else, there's no point having a car like that over here. Like, there is no point. So yeah, I don't really fantasize about like an ultimate dream car, because right now I feel like I'm driving my dream car, do you know what I mean? I've just kind of wanted to touch base on that, because I just feel like, as much as I love cars, I just don't fantasize about having a specific car, but I do fantasize about having a 2-seater sports car one day. So when I say sports car, I mean more like a Mercedes rather than like a Lambo, like I just said. I just genuinely love Mercedes. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, even though I've not really answered it, but I have. So yeah, I'm going to sort of do the last 2 questions now, kind of like combined in a way. I'm sorry if I've not answered your question, but I am going to leave the question box up, and I'm going to be answering questions on my Instagram as well over the foreseeable. But there was 2 questions that made my heart sink. Constructive criticism, let's say. So the first one was, this isn't really constructive criticism, this is just someone giving their opinion in a weird way. They said, I used to follow your TikTok, but your content got boring. There's more interesting people that I've seen in your hometown, like that girl with tattoos. I don't know specifically who he's talking about. There's quite a lot of us actually in Jersey that do content. I want to tie this one in with another question I got, which is, and this question, I read it and you know when your heart it just sinks. I'm going to read the question first, and then I'm going to explain why it made my heart sink. I had to stop watching your TikTok videos as your negative body talk can be triggering, speaking from a fellow eating disorder sufferer in the past, which is a shame because you look amazing. So I first want to say thank you. Thank you for saying this to me, and thank you for obviously your compliment as well at the end and the constructive criticism. Like, when I read this, my heart sank, and I instantly felt really annoyed at myself and upset, and I was like heartbroken in a way, like a little mini heartbreak. I was like, oh my god, because this is something I do not want to portray on my social media. And if you've been following me for a while, or you've looked at my socials and stalked me, let's say, you will know that I've also had an eating disorder. I had an eating disorder back in 2015 that actually ended up making me collapse, which was what caused that I then did all that dental work I was speaking about earlier. So if you know me, I have suffered with an eating disorder. I suffered with an eating disorder back in 2015, and I've actually spoken about it on a YouTube video before, which is still live if you did want to go look at it. I've also done a podcast with a local podcast called This Is Me, and spoke about it, and as well like my depression and anxiety that came from it. So when I read this, I could relate, because I understand what triggering points are. I get them myself, and my heart sank. And like, to the person who asked me this question, like, please feel free to message me as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm here if you want to talk, and I'm going to be going through my TikTok and be deleting any videos that I think that could potentially be triggering. I think, if you want my honest opinion, why this might have happened is, if I'm being honest with you, I don't feel comfortable with myself at the moment. I don't want to talk about weight and food, and like, I quite avoid talking about it where I can on social media, but obviously I have slipped through with certain things, and I'm genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, really sorry that I have. I just generally am not comfortable with myself at the moment. That is not me saying that I'm unhealthy and stuff like that. Like, this is just a personal opinion of myself, and I can understand that that can come across as damaging to other girls, because I get it. I can watch people and I can think the exact same thing. I feel like when you're talking about it genuinely from yourself, you sometimes don't think. And obviously I've fallen into an unhealthy track of being uncomfortable with myself and then talking about it on social media, because it's not something I would genuinely want to do. And I'm really annoyed at myself that I've obviously put content out there talking about it too much. I kind of want to stop talking about it. But in all honesty, yes, I feel very uncomfortable with the way I look at the moment. That's not for me to say that I am unhealthy, I am fat, or anything like that, because no, and every single human on this earth is absolutely beautiful in their own way, and I will always say that, but I've obviously spoken about it a little bit too much and in the wrong way. I am personally trying to be a bit healthier at the moment, but with summer, there's been a lot of social events. It's not been particularly easy, but I know I will get to a point where I feel comfortable again. when you've had an eating disorder, and for everyone who's had an eating disorder, you understand that it never goes away, which is why I can relate to this question so much. It never goes away. Loads of things can be triggering points, which I actually spoke about a lot on the podcast I did, what my triggering points are. This in a way has woken me up, because obviously I'm currently suffering with triggering points, which is why I feel then the need to talk about it when I'm doing content. So I obviously need to focus on that as an individual. I don't even like, I'm just genuinely so annoyed at myself that, because obviously this is not just going to be one person that's going to think this. And yeah, I get it. I'm not going to make everyone happy with my content. I'm not. And that goes back to the first question about how they find my content boring, whoever said that. You know what? I get it. I understand, because I have changed my content on TikTok. It's not what it used to be, because in all honesty, TikTok is not what it used to be. Like, TikTok has changed. I'm very aware of that, and I'm not going to take, you know, I'm going to take that with a pat on the back, like, okay, no worries, you personally don't like my content at the moment, and I'm really sorry that you don't. Maybe at one point when I'm a bit more active on my socials, you'll find that you do like my TikToks again, and I really, really hope so, because I would love for people to enjoy my content. So yeah, I will say that my content's definitely changed. Obviously, it's also come across in a wrong way for certain parts of it. So yeah, I am going to go through my TikTok with a fine tooth comb and delete a couple of videos, I think, because I want my social media to be a positive place, people that can talk to me freely and feel like can open up to me. Like, I'm not a judgmental person. I'm a really nice person until, yeah, you piss me off. And obviously, like any human being, there's people in this earth that I don't particularly like, but you know, like in general, like you guys who follow me and support me, and the fact that these people have asked me these questions, they obviously still follow me on Instagram or somewhat follow me, and honestly, I can't thank you enough, because to all of my followers, like, you guys are honestly amazing. You've made so many dreams of mine come true, and I'm genuinely so thankful for you, and I always want to know what I can do to make my content better and what will be more enjoyable for you guys. So please feel free to either ask me anonymously or message me. I promise I don't bite, and I'd love to talk. That if you feel at any point of my content was triggering or was, you know, negative, I would love to hear about it in a constructive criticism way. Like I said, I'm not going to make everyone happy with my content. I've got to do content on what I want to do, but in terms of triggering things for eating disorders, that's definitely something I do not want to do. Anyways, my battery is now flashing at me, so I'm going to end this video. I really thank everyone who got to this point in the video. Like I said, I'm going to continue the questions on my Instagram as well. Make sure you subscribe. All my socials will be linked below. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you guys in a YouTube video very soon.